Hello, all you gridiron fanatics out there. Glad you are here with us on the first edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style, where we gab about all things pro football, from the scoops of the regular season to the scores in the postseason, as well as the picks of the off season. Let's start gabbing. Hello, you guys and gals out there, all you fanatics out there. Welcome back. This is, as I said, the inaugural show of the Gridiron Gab, where we talk about all 32 teams and the hot news, as you know of. Check us out over at our Facebook page, Gridiron Gab Pro Style. If you have questions or comments and would like to just have ideas for the show, please hit us up there. We also have a poll there about the topic tonight. Is DeAndre Hopkins a good fit for the Titans? Also, hit me up on my Instagram page at Mister Cee Low if you have questions or comments about the show or how we can do things to make it better. As you guys know, I do Growling and Prowling, the Carolina Panthers channel. I'm a big Carolina Panthers fan, but I just love football in general. As I said, if you guys have ideas or want topics to be covered by myself, Mister Cee Low, please do so. Let's get into the gabbing. As you guys are aware, DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent, but there was some news that broke today that the former Houston Texan, Arizona Cardinal standout was visiting to Tennessee Titans, and that was a post from his Twitter account saying that he was going to be in Memphis and that he was visiting today. Now, we're discussing this topic because the question came up, is DeAndre Hopkins really a good fit for this football team? And the question that I say is that it's possible, but there's a lot of things that go into play with a superstar caliber player like DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm not saying that he's the problem. But I am saying that it's going to take a lot for this superstar to find a home. But I think this one is going to make a lot of sense. And when I go through the many obstacles that, the many problems that the Tennessee Titans face offensively here. First and foremost, let's look at what DeAndre Hopkins has done. In a previous video, I put up his statistics, and they're pretty straightforward. But, you know, the thing, nobody ever questioned Hopkins' production. You know, he has had a couple of injuries here and there, but let's look at how incredible these numbers are. You're talking about 4 seasons of 100-plus yards and another season with 96, and then you've got 2 1,400-yard, near 1,400-yard seasons. One's 1,378, but you got to look at it. The last time he was that productive was when he played a full season, which was his first season in 2020 with Kyler Murray, where he put up 115 receptions and for 1,407 yards and 6 scores. But it's by far his most productive season would have been the next to the last season with Deshaun Watson at 115 receptions, 1,572 yards, and 11 scores. And I know a lot of people say, well, he had the same in 2015. Well, but he had the same numbers, except he had right at 51 more yards, and he had 13 scores in the year before. But he had nearly 200 yards less. But this just makes sense because he's such an exceptional possession receiver. And we have to look at what the Tennessee Titans not only have on the roster, but let's look at where they ranked last year just in, passing. Let's look at this. This is a football team was right there. Bottom. I mean, let's not sit here and kid ourselves. The Tennessee Titans were nearly as bad as anybody else in the NFL. I mean, they were that bad. Look, the Falcons and Bears were worse. as far as yards go, yards per game even. The Bears threw for 130 yards a game. The Titans right here at 171.4, only less than 5 yards less than 5 yards less than my team. But this makes sense, and this is another reason why I said the Carolina Panthers needed to get in on this. But they did make some really good moves in the offseason. The other thing is his effectiveness within the red zone. You look at how many passing touchdowns there were last year. That's just unheard of. And what really got me was the Titans did go out and get 2 tackles because protecting the passer was a problem. So they had to shore that up, and they've done that. But they have to get some pass catchers to go with Ryan Tannehill and to shore up this receiving core to help give Derrick Henry a push, because Derrick Henry was actually on the trading block here earlier this season. And, this guy is still very productive. I don't care what anybody has to say. This is a guy that is still considered one of the beasts in the NFL. He ran for 1538 last year. He missed 1 game last season. And he was pretty, prolific, running for 13 scores coming off of a season where he had gotten hurt and missed, I would say, vast majority of the season. For a comeback season, many people, including myself, thought this guy was going to be going to struggle. And I was incorrect in that assumption, and I'm grateful for that. I'm glad he was able to return and come back to top form. But let's look at the receiving core that they have currently. Let's look at last season first of all. Last season, their number one target of Mr. Davis Mills and the other. I'm sorry, it's Davis Mills. I'm thinking about Houston. Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill and even Joshua Dobbs. The guy that received most of the lion's share of the receptions last year, if you will, was Robert Woods, and he is no longer there. He is a Houston Texan, if I am correct. He is a Houston Texan, and to me that was just a head scratcher, because Traylon Burks, for a guy that did okay. His yards per grab were 13.5. That was impressive enough, but you really don't have anything outside of him that scares you. Austin Hooper's there this year. Okonkwo's there, the tight end. I'm just not looking at anything on this roster that jumps out at me. Now, they did go out in the 7th round, and a lot of people are going to say, okay, you're talking about a 7th round. Please don't do that. I looked at Colton Dowell's out of Tennessee Martin. He's 6'3", 215. A big body, much like Traylon Burks. That's a big deal because whether people realize this or not, early in DeAndre Hopkins' career, he was a really fast guy. Traylon Burks is a guy that's considered a speed demon himself. Well, he's not a speed demon, but he's fast for his size and able to stretch the field. But I think what's going to separate Colton Dowell, and I'm believing they're going to push this guy to get on the field. Tennessee's always liked big receivers, and I believe that they bring in DeAndre Hopkins to shore up this part. That'll give Cole Dowell a chance to develop. Now, many people will look at me and say, okay, what do we know about this kid? We really don't know much about him. I think if I remember right, I was looking at a game where he had 100 yards receiving in college against the Tennessee Volunteers. And, a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't say much. Well, it says a lot when you got a guy that is showing out in the collegiate level. That doesn't sound like much, but to me that sounds like a lot. You have to give this guy a shot, and I'm a firm believer. You give guys shots. But, looking here, the Tennessee Titans, really need to make this move, because outside of Derrick Henry receiving out of the backfield, and I'm not even going to so much as go as far as to say Traylon Burks is the guy. I'm a firm believer that DeAndre Hopkins is going in to to Nashville, and he's got to come out of Tennessee Titan. I mean, he's just got to come out of Titan. There's no way that he leaves Nashville without it. But that's just the way I'm seeing it. Let me know what you guys think. If you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to sign, or you think that Tennessee needs to sign him, or they need to let him walk. You can comment on the Facebook post and give your opinion as to whether it's going to be a good fit. But that's going to wrap it up for this this first edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Check us out on our YouTube channel at Gridiron Gab. Also, go to our Facebook page. There is the poll up there. Is DeAndre Hopkins a good fit for the Tennessee Titans? And also go to my Instagram and let us know what you think, whether we can start gabbing together and hopefully make some collabs together. But that's going to do it. I am Mister Cee Low, and I'm about to be up out of here. But until next time, keep gabbing on, fanatics of the gridiron, until we gab again. Same gab channel, same gab platform.